Can y'all hear us? Let's see. Can somebody hear us? Can y'all hear us? If
Hello,
y'all can,
hello.
if y'all can hear us, say yes, no, maybe so. Let's me
Hmm.
come on. They talk about YouTube messing with y'all stuff.
They might be. Okay, can they hear us now?
They
Look,
say
anything is
yes. They say yes.
they can hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, y'all,
Yeah.
I had Miss Jessica Jackson. I told look, they like
Yeah,
look,
done.
when
Okay.
they when you say your name, when they hear your name, Miss Jessica, they don't
Yeah. Okay,
but
because I can see the chat now.
yeah,
Okay. Hi. Hey everybody. Okay, let's go, Danny.
okay, see look, when they say your name. This is funny, y'all, because anytime you see Jessica Jackson name, they be like, oh shit. It's probably
Who's to
okay.
say?
You right. Okay, let's see. All right, everybody. Let me make sure. Okay, let people come on in. Hey, Carla. Hey, y'all. So you
Yes.
see they look. So everybody, I'm crying because this is crazy.
This is
So
crazy. We've been trying for about 20 minutes or more.
yes, yes, this yeah. They're trying to get this on. Okay, let's. All right, y'all. So we're gonna wait for a couple people more to come on, and then we're gonna talk and get this out, get this started,
Yeah, we're gonna
and
get it, get it.
get it together. Oh my God, I hate this. Look, Miss Jessica Jackson voice wakes me up. I know it do. I know it do, y'all. Man.
That's bad.
So
Well,
they like,
I'm glad you got your channel and everything, Danny. Let's go. You're doing a
yeah,
really good job. Yeah,
we
yeah,
gotta
you're putting it down.
we gotta put this, we gotta get this word out here because
Yeah.
you know we have to flip the not just Chicago red. We have to, like I keep saying, we got to put the Democrats in in a timeout for about 20 to 30 years. We're not playing no more. And
Yeah.
so I want to wait for a couple of people to come on because I want, okay, now, Miss Jessica, I want you just to tell your story for a minute uh about why why you down there, what's going on with you, and then we just gonna talk like we be talking on the phone because I then you was having a conversation and I said, hold on, everybody gotta hear this because on my TikTok, right? They be going crazy when I'm going live on my TikTok. Everybody be like, Danny, please, could you get Miss Jessica on the show? Can you come? Could you bring Miss Jessica? And I said, okay, I'm gonna talk her into doing. I'm gonna try my best to talk her into doing that. This is what I said on TikTok. And just before I had you on, I just had like 4,000 people. Man, just on there. They like, oh my God, Miss Jessica gonna be on. Miss Jessica gonna be on. And I'm like, yes, Miss, I got Miss Jessica. So they like, oh my God, I'm headed over there. But I was able, because Miss, I know you be saying you don't want to do social media, but everybody love you. A lot of people just ask me, can you tell her to run? So I said, I'm gonna let her talk to you and tell y'all everything. So now just tell a little bit about your story, and then we'll just get started.
All right. Well, like I said, Danny, I'm glad that you have your channel. And I'm
Mhm.
not, I'm really not into social media, like this. However, because of what's been happening at City Hall and because the issue with, the property and everything, social media has been a viable tool in getting the word out and getting the word alarming people to the importance of where we are right now politically. So, you know, it's a small price to pay, a small price to pay for a lot,
Mhm.
for things to be done. But as it pertains to how it is that I got to City Hall and why I'm doing this. This all started, like what a lot of people know, with the estate of my mother when my mother passed in 2016. You know,
Mhm.
and she had a full-fledged will, a full-fledged will. She didn't owe anybody any money at all. No credit cards, no card notes, no she wasn't in any type of like senior citizen home or nursing facility where the state would have, a right to have some type of claim against your
Right.
property. No, she was at home until death. Um, she lived a very good financially solvent life, you know.
Mhm.
And Cook County's, the state of Illinois, has a law that says that even in the event that you have a will, there's no debt, no personal or delinquent taxes owed on the estate at the time of death. If your estate has over $100,000 in assets or real estate, you still
Mhm.
have to come through probate.
Right.
That's when Cook County gets their hands on your property. Okay, I
Mhm.
want everybody to understand that, because one thing that I've noticed that in this whole thing of dealing with this, as much as black people talk about white people this and white people that, and
Mhm.
white supremacy this and white supremacy that, and calling Cook County and all this, it was amazing that once we started this path, and I'm
Mhm.
saying we, I'm saying me, I'm saying Zoe Lee.
Mhm.
As we started this path about our property, you'd be surprised how many people, rather than taking us at face value, what we're saying happened,
Mhm.
it's a lot of energy where people try to poke holes
Yeah,
in the door. They must have had taxes. No.
that's what everybody been at. Yeah, because I saw that like like under your videos that I posted on my page, right? Here they go. Yeah, it had to be the taxes. It had to be this or it had to be that. Exactly.
No, it does not. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to exert so much energy trying to persuade somebody of that.
I know.
Because either you believe the things that you say or not. If you believe that white supremacy is real, or that it's Crook County, or that white people this and that, then I don't understand what the problem is when somebody's telling you what
Mm-hmm.
they're going through with supporting documentation, with supporting law, and the fact that you still want to find something that this is the reason why, you only exert so much energy. It's just like dealing with an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Mm-hmm.
like dealing with an atheist. You're only going to exert so much, energy
Right.
into trying to prove God to an individual. At some point, you leave it up to that person. Either you believe it or not. But I'm only gonna go down this rabbit hole, but for so long, because you soon come to a point where this person is at a place of unbelief. They're just
That's
not
right.
going to believe it. They've made the decision that they're not going to believe it. And based on that, you just let that be and you go on about your business. Well, it's the same thing with this. I try to explain. I have, like I say, supporting documents. I've had supporting law. And if a person still wants to find themselves at, well, it's probably this, and you see that, and you have that, hey, then you leave it to them. But this is what we do know, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
You will want to take heed, because
Mm-hmm.
if your parents
Right.
passed on and left you anything, I'm trying to tell you what's up. If you have worked and you want to leave things to your parents, I mean, to your children and your heirs, I'm trying to tell you what's up. Now,
Trying
you
to
can
wake
either
people up.
listen, right? You can either listen or you don't. But, again, like the atheist, I'm only going to exert so much energy.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah. So I said that to say this. My mother had all her ducks in a row. Now, if you want, I can show a couple of documents, just a couple, to solidify what it is that I'm saying for your
Mm-hmm.
audience that want to be doubtful. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Jesus showing Thomas the holes in his hands of the nail prints for those who want to be doubtful.
But
So,
see, But see, you ain't gotta, you know what?
Go ahead.
Everybody who know you, Miss Jessica, everybody who know you, they know you from going viral from your videos of you calling them out. They look, you could, hey, they name so and so. Didn't you do this? Did you do that? So everybody who know you and follow you and know what's going on, they know what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
They trust
Yeah.
you and they believe you. And everybody who, it's just the ones who hate the fact that they on that Democrat plantation and they
Yeah.
hate the fact that you say Trump, right? That's what triggers them. But other than that, everybody else who just with an open mind, they know what's going on because they saw your videos, they see you down there, and you calling it out. You got your the paperwork, you calling their name out, you saying this, and that. So people, you ain't got people who know. But like you said, the ones who don't know, who don't try to doubt, that's all right. They've been stealing people property for a long time.
For a
They just
long
happened,
time.
they just happened to find the right one when they came across you and Zoe, because they didn't know that their kids was gonna be
Mm-hmm.
you and Zoe, and
Mm-hmm.
y'all wasn't gonna
Mm-hmm.
play with them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I'm down there fighting that because it's just you and Zoe, but then some more people have came out, right? Saying the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. It was a story. I want to say maybe about maybe 8 months ago or so on WGN, where they had
Mhm.
this attorney who had got anywhere from 100 to 150 black seniors by way of illegal reverse mortgages. Okay.
Mm.
And that they had caught him before, but hey, didn't lock him up, and then he continued to do it, and they had about 100 cases of it, and they showed that when this woman passed on, her children and grandchildren came to occupy the property. You move on in the property. It was a three flat, and
Mhm.
come to find out, now here comes the bank telling them, we own this. And they, what are you talking about? This been our property. And they know a reverse mortgage. Your mother did, or grandmother did a reverse mortgage on such and such. That then they like, and
Mhm.
come to find out, and they had to get an attorney, a lot of money, go through the systems and to find out that this attorney had got 100, 150 other people. Okay, you hear it was just a story over here. It was just on the news about
Mhm.
another lady in South Shore who for 5 years been paying her property taxes. They had the wrong parcel pin number in the system for her. So as she's paying her taxes, her property taxes, is going under another parcel. When she found that error, she went to Cook County, down there at Cook County tax assessors office, showed it to them. They said that they would straighten it out. 5 years later, still haven't straightened it out. Now here comes somebody telling her that they bought her property due to taxes, and that she's behind in rent to them. What? How do I owe you rent and I own this property? But they what, illegally bought the taxes. Okay, they had another special that was just on an 83-year-old woman that lives over here again in
And-
South
But
Shore.
but you one of the things that you and Zoe keep saying that they're doing it to the elderly, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because and the reason for that is because most people of a certain age by now, your property is paid for.
Right. Uh-huh.
You know, your property is paid for. Or let's say people my age, I'm 62. So, of course, my parents were from that generation of they believed in buying property, paying it off, passing it to their children. They didn't do all this refinancing and flipping and did it. No, they bought that property, paid it off, and their claim to fame was that they were going to pass it to their children. So it
Right.
was very common. It's very common for people my age to get property that's paid for. All my cousins, everybody. I mean, it's very rare
Right.
where you find people of my generation who nobody in their family got property. That's
Right.
rare. See,
Right.
which is why when you look at this Democratic thing, this package that Carmela had offered up, saying that she was going to give $25,000 to first-time home buyers. If you look at her plan that she was offering, you could only have that was only for people who never owned
So,
property in their family. Come on, how many black people, how many white people in this
mm,
country has no property in their
right.
family? That's
Right.
rare. That's for people who were just coming over here, these immigrants, these
These
illegal immigrants, giving them an opportunity
to
to
buy.
get
Yep.
property. While all along they're doing all kind of stuff to get property from us.
That's
All these
right.
illegal tax evictions. You look at it's another documentary called on CBS called 40 Acres and a Mule.
Mm, mm,
Mhm. Look at that. That's the story of how a municipality was trying to take these people's land. If you a few months ago, Tyler Perry end up bailing out this 93-year-old woman and her family
oh, I
from
heard
property
y'all.
that they had in their family for over 150 years. Well, all of a sudden now that local municipality starts saying that her porch was over the property line and they
See,
was going to have to, yeah, come to find out it wasn't true. But the most interesting part of that conference is that they had hired a private investigator. It was this white guy with a long, shrubbery beard or whatever. And he was investigating as to whether that was true or not in terms of her property being over the property line. And come
mm,
to find out, no, it was not true. But he said the thing that he found out more than anything else was that this is all over the country where coming up
mm,
with all kind of ways to take black people's property. It's been going on forever. And the fact that people won't grasp that, they just did a documentary. It was called The Shame of Chicago. That was about maybe 6, 7 months ago, talking
mm.
about the same thing about how redlining and zoning and
Right.
all these
Right.
things have taken black people's property for years.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
years. Now, the thing that makes my situation so cut and dry is because my mother had a will. She didn't have any debt. She didn't have any
See?
back taxes, no back personal taxes. So now, look what happens. In a lot of situations, let's say we're siblings, right? And
Mm-hmm.
let's say a lot of situations, siblings don't get along for whatever
Okay.
reason. That's common. That's that's as that's as old as Cain and Abel. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of siblings don't get along. And let's say you and your parent died, and let's say they owe Mastercard $1,000.
Right.
And let's say for whatever reason, maybe your mother didn't have a father, didn't have $1,000 in the bank. It could be for numerous reasons why that is, but they
Mm-hmm.
still own that property,
Right.
right? So now let's say you and your sisters or you and your brothers are saying, I'm not gonna pay that $1,000, you pay it. I'm not gonna pay it, you pay it. Now here comes to hire the state attorney. And what is he gonna tell you and your siblings? Well, you're just gonna have to sell the property
Right.
so that MasterCard can get that $1,000.
But that ain't even, that don't,
Exactly. You would think that it would be a law that says that you can only force the seller that property, especially if it's not, if it doesn't have a mortgage on it, if it's as they
right.
call non-encumbered. You would think that there would be a law to say, okay, under a certain amount of money, you cannot
Right.
force the seller that property. Give those heirs an opportunity to have some type of payment plan with the court
Right.
or something like that. No, and the evidence that you can do it or that the court could be able to do it is the fact that they got my mother's estate tied up for 8 years. So anything that that could have been owed, you gonna tell me that in 8 years we couldn't have paid it?
Right.
Instead of for 8 years, you all just keep on jumping from one bad act to another, trying to take the property.
Trying to take the property.
Trying to take the property. Now, because I'm in pro se, because I represent myself, that's how I'm able to catch them. Understand this. If I would have been having an attorney, they would have been took this property.
Listen, y'all, listen to what she's saying because they keep trying to get her to get, you need an attorney, you need this. But say that again, because we were just talking about if you get an attorney, what they'll do.
Well, first of all, I want you to understand, like I said, my mother had an attorney that wrote up her will.
A
My mother,
will.
the same attorney that she had for over 50 some years, I think 54 years, she had this attorney. And just like my mother got elderly and what needed, my sister to help her because I was in California for the last 35 years. I only came here because of the mess with my mother's estate to get it straight. I tried to
Mm-hmm.
straighten it out 3 years in California before I even got here. Okay? Now,
Mm-hmm.
just like my mom got elderly and needed, assistance, my sister to help her, the attorney got elderly and
Okay.
he passed all his clients to his son,
Mm-hmm.
which is who the hired estate attorney is, David Feldman. Okay, attorney David Feldman. Okay, now you're telling me then that I need to get another attorney. So I need to get another attorney to make the higher state attorney do what the first attorney is supposed. I mean, come on. At what point does the law make the corruption stop? That's where I'm
Right.
at.
You hire
That's
one
where I'm at.
attorney, you got one attorney to get your will to do what you're supposed to do. That's
Right.
it.
That's supposed to be it. Because if it's taking me to get an attorney, to get the higher state attorney, to make him do what the first attorney put on paper, and this we're just talking about a lowly 3 flat on the south side for an estate of a high school teacher, then I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce and them, what is it going to take? The United Nations?
Right.
And you know what I mean? Come on.
Right. Right. And that's why you like, no, first of all, I'm not gonna spend no money that I don't have to go get an attorney to go do that. Because when we was talking yesterday, like you said, all the attorney gonna do is what are you gonna say? Well, you gotta do what do you say? You just gotta what are you gonna what
You already know that attorney getting ready to come and he gonna tap you on your shoulder. He gonna
and what
say,
are you gonna
"Well, I tried, but
yeah.
it's nothing else I can do. It's nothing else I can do." You guaranteed that's what he's gonna say. And let
And
me
now
tell you why. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because listen, chat, please listen. The Daily Center is the only venue for all the probate cases in all of Cook County. Okay? All the probate cases have to go through the probate division of the Daily Center. Okay, so now, in other words, that hired estate attorney that you have, he's going to play this probate game. Oh, yes,
mm-hmm.
he is. Because there's nowhere else for him to practice law.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So in other words, in order for me to get a probate attorney that's going to unravel this to the extent that it needs to be unraveled, that means that he has to get those probate judges. And if he goes after those judges and those public administrators, that's like shooting his career in the foot. He's not going to be able to operate in that daily center no more. So yes, he's going to sell me out as soon as he becomes my legal mouthpiece, and I can't speak for myself. He's going to go right there in that back room and he's going to make a deal with them, just like the hired estate attorney has done.
Yeah. That but you know
By
what?
me being in pro se, it allows me to find every single bad act that they commit. I find every last one of them. Now, you would think that once they got caught, oh, okay, we caught. All right. So, okay. No, no. This is Cook County. They got taxpayers' money. They're going to jump to another lane of bad acts. And they just gonna keep going and keep going and keep going because the goal is to wear you down. If I had
Mm-hmm.
an attorney, and let's say I had the most honest attorney in the whole wide world, the most honest attorney in the whole wide world,
Mm-hmm.
still at some point I'm gonna run out of money to pay that attorney because everything that attorney files, you have to pay him to file it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even if he's the most honest attorney, at some point I'm gonna run out of money. And when I run out of money to pay him, my case gets blown right there. So when you know that you're innocent, when you know that you're right, when you know you got the law on your side, you know you got documentation on your side, you got to be like an inmate. You got to sit there and you got to represent yourself and do your own case. Come on, how many inmates do that all the time if they know they innocent? They
Mm-hmm.
know they innocent. They will sit there in that jail cell, in that penitentiary, and they will represent themselves. By the
Right.
time we see the ACLU and all them on TV with that inmate smiling, that inmate done 80 to 85% of his own work.
Show have. Show
Yes,
have.
yes. You represent yourself when you know you right.
That's right. Because like
The
you said,
laws are there.
because like you said, and this was like when you said that attorney will not, if he know he got to go against these judges, right? Because that's where the corruption is. He is not going to put his career on the line going to after these judges, and then for what? For you? You see what I'm saying? He ain't gonna
He's
do
not going to do it. And even when we try to contact civil rights attorneys, because in order for them to have kept this going this long, it goes without saying they're violating my due process rights. It goes without saying. It goes without saying they're violating my civil rights and
it.
discriminating in housing. Why? Because they're trying to aggressively gentrify South Shore. They are aggressively gentrifying the south side and west side of Chicago. They are aggressively doing it. Not only were they doing it just by way of gentrification 4 or 5 years ago, now they're doing it by way of pushing us out to put these illegals in.
That's right.
They're trying to put illegals in these properties. What do you think all this $5,000 a month voucher and stuff is about? Why do you think they keep letting this property get this high, allowing property taxes to get this high? Because the higher they allow property taxes to get, then the more it makes rents be. And it makes it to the point where the average everyday worker can't hardly afford to pay rent. So now you can't pay rent. So here they come giving the illegal the voucher, and it's
Mm,
forcing you as the landlord to let vouchers, I mean to let tenants rent from you with these vouchers. Another way to force black people out.
that's right. And when we lose our homes, now we can't, from the taxes, you can't afford it. And that's just a way to force, like right, like Brandon Johnson tried to do this 300 million tax. So,
Hidden property taxes. How many people do you see in the news that are saying, older people who are saying, yeah, their house is without mortgage, but the property tax is so high, they can't even pay the property taxes,
and then,
especially if they're in single family homes where they're
yeah,
not, where they don't have the rents. That's helping with the to pay the expenses. They don't have the rents that's helping with the maintenance and the upkeep. The only money that they have is the money that's from them that they put into their property. Again, that's the difference between a single family home and income property. Single
that's right,
family home, you only can you're paying into that property. You only can, you putting money in there and it's getting equity, but it's
right,
still, in order for you to see that equity, you got to pull the money out. You got to
right.
sell that house. Whereas income property, you making money in it all along.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
as time goes on, your profits are supposed to get bigger
Right.
because at some point you come out of that mortgage, but you still collecting rents. Like I saw my mother eventually do. This
Mm-hmm.
building was paid for when I was a teenager, like 15, 16 years old. My mother, when
Mm.
my mother died, what, 54? So look how many years I literally saw my mother live in this building and collect rents and not owe a mortgage.
Right.
That's the beauty of income property.
Mm-hmm.
You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So either way it goes, if the property taxes get outlandish as a landlord, every time you got to hit your
Go
tenants,
up.
because
Yup.
if not, you're operating either at a loss or either you break it even. Why would you do that? You invested so that you can make money. It's an investment.
That's right.
Just like with a single family home, at some point your goal is to live comfortably, that when you retire, now your pension, your social security, whatever, allows you to live comfortably because you're not trying to make that house note anymore.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
some people have found themselves in that financial position. Good. But because property taxes are so high, you having them say that they can't even pay property taxes even if
Yes.
they don't have a mortgage. And the thing here in Chicago and with the Democrats, because they have dangled this thing of low income housing, subsidized housing, affordable housing in front of black people like a carrot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
making you just, look forward to not having to pay no rent, paying a little bitty rent. Okay, but look at the effect of that. Number one, you can't pass down a Section 8 voucher.
That's right. That's right.
That's not passing down generational wealth. Number two, when you put all this low income high rises and all these Section 8 vouchers in the community, understand that property taxes are connected to the resources that go into that local school.
That's right. Yup.
So when you have all these people in your community that's living off of government assistance for housing instead of home ownership, that's money that's not going into the schools in that
Right.
neighborhood. And that's why the schools remain low resource. So you got low income people living there, low education. So now poverty is just being recycled, recycled, recycled. And even though Trump's platform says that he's in favor of choice, that you can
Mm-hmm.
go to schools of your choice. I mean, that's cool. But why shouldn't we have quality schools in our neighborhoods?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Then on top of that, Danny, if it's true that what they say 70 to 75% of households in our communities are ran by single women, then look
Mm-hmm.
at the amount of wear and tear that is on that woman and that child every day when that child has to get up super early and that mother have to get up super early just to get that kid to school way
That's
on the other side of town.
right.
And then have
Right.
to come back and pick that child up. And then come
Right.
all through traffic. Look at the amount of wear and tear on that woman, the wear and tear on that child, the wear and tear on that automobile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then she gotta get to work and then make sure she get off in time to go get the kid. That's
All
still
of that. All of that. When the reality is we should have good schools right here in our neighborhoods.
that's
It
right.
should be good
That's
schools in our neighborhood with after school programs that
that's
allow
right.
those kids to get out of school at 3 o'clock and go to a safe place until 6 o'clock.
That's right.
That gives
That's
most parents an opportunity to get off and come get their child.
that's in the field houses. Like we used to have the field houses in our community that
All of
uh,
that.
all that goes with property taxes. And when you pay property taxes on your homes that you own, that goes to resources like that. But like you said, when they put a bunch of affordable housing in your neighborhood, then now who paying taxes? You see what I'm saying?
Who's paying taxes? And you're not realizing the muzzle that they're putting on your mouth.
Yeah.
The fact that they're paying for your housing. Now you ain't got nothing to say. You just be lucky that when we finish doing whatever we do, and we gonna send you on out there. That's the reason why they adding on to that damn Ryan and taking it further than 95th. Because they getting ready to throw a lot of people out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they can say where it is that you live when they pay for your housing.
That's right. That is, oh my goodness. And that's what people don't understand. And this is why we say the Democrat Party,
Hmm.
the reason why I keep saying they got to be in a timeout for like 20 to 30 years for just how they trying to play the black community. I'm just because we are the ones who vote 90 to 95% Democrat, not no other race. We are the only ones, and look at our neighborhoods. Look at, our schools. Look at our kids can't even read. So that's why I say they need to sit in the corner for about 20 or 30 years until they realize, hey, if you don't,
Any black person that still doesn't get it, we welcome you to go sit in the corner with them.
yeah, let's talk about that
Go,
because
go, go sit with them because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
we
When
arguing
you
with
go
all these people.
outside, look at our communities. Look at our communities. This has nothing to do with Trump. It has nothing to do with the Republican Party, especially not here in Chicago when the Democrats have been in charge of Chicago for decades and decades and decades. Why do our communities look like this? And it was one thing to grow up in Chicago and just, kind of like accept that the north side and the downtown area always looked nice because that was, where white folks was and you always understood the white black thing and
Mhm.
Chicago always been segregated, woo, whatever. Especially when you look at the period of time like the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, where the South Side had everything.
Mhm.
We had everything. Nobody was even really tripping about
Mhm.
downtown in the north side because the south side had everything.
Everything. So did.
Everything. Anything you thought we wanted was on the south side. Restaurants, black owned banks, black owned grocery
Mhm.
stores, great schools, great
Mhm.
schools, parks, furniture stores, movie theaters, grocery stores. I mean, car lots. You name it. It was on the south side of
It
Chicago.
sure
We
was.
literally only went downtown then was to get Garrett's popcorn and to
Very
go to
popcorn.
Marshall Fields. That was it.
That was
Outside
it.
of that, if you didn't go downtown, I mean, it was no big deal. I'm telling you, we had everything over here. Everything.
We sure did. We sure did.
Everything. Everything. Now, it goes without saying the crack epidemic came and it did what it did, and black people made a lot of bad decisions, and it ended up being like how it is now, and it kind of like just, and again, black people pretty much accepted that, hey, this is just how it is, and white people got what they got up there, and okay, whatever. But when you bring in illegals,
So you said, wait a minute. Okay, so all this time, see, this is what I'm thinking. All this time, and Zoe keeps saying too, God was just like, let me wake these these Negroes up. Time after time, they seeing, not back in the day like you talked about it, up into the present time, some more years before.
yeah.
We see in our communities how messed up they are, abandoned buildings everywhere, and we ain't saying nothing. We still voting blue no matter who. And so Zoe had me down because she said God was like, let me smack these Negroes because you got to do something drastic to wake them up because they just gonna be stuck on stupid for a long time. And so when he brought these illegals in, Then what? What you said, that's what woke us up, right?
And that was even slow moving. And that
That's
was even slow moving because you got some black people, you know how we are. If it ain't right at our door, it ain't got nothing to do with us. It ain't got
right,
nothing to do with us. It ain't got
right.
nothing to do with us. I don't live over there. I don't live over there. It don't have nothing
Mm-hmm.
to do with us. Oh, they want the jobs like maids and car washes. We don't that's not, they don't have nothing to do with my job. It doesn't have anything to do with my job. Until, like they say, things don't affect you until they affect you.
That's right. That's right.
Now you see illegals are all over the city. They're not
And
just in one part of town, they're all over the city. All the way to the point where no, you can't enjoy beautiful downtown anymore. No, you
mm-hmm.
can't. All the way to the point, no, you can't go shopping on Michigan Avenue and no, you can't. All the way to the point where this constant rise in property taxes is getting ready to make you lose money off of your investment. Look
Mm-hmm.
downtown, look in City Hall. The illegals these Hispanics only want jobs as waiters and dishwashers because I'm seeing a whole lot of aldermen.
Right.
I'm seeing a whole lot of people put in these high city positions and government titles. I don't know that it's so true that the only thing they want is jobs that don't nobody want no more. Come on. Come on.
They in positions, and
They
guess who
in
they looking?
positions.
And guess who they looking after? Of? They people.
Each other.
You
They look
absolutely.
after each other.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Mm.
these teacher jobs. Look at these Chicago public school jobs. Look how all of a sudden, in 2 seconds, they getting ready to start saying you got to be bilingual.
Come on.
In 2 seconds, that's getting ready to be next. You got to be bilingual.
They doing
Didn't
it now.
what's that girl that's in the group in that Chicago Flip Red? And remember, we was there that night, and I asked, "Well, why do you think that many black people not going into trades and stuff?" I said, "Do you think it's behind finances?" Or they just not interested in trades anymore. And remember, she pulled up that thing that showed that these JCs got programs that they specifically pay for the DACA and the
Mm-hmm.
immigrants for their education and stuff, and that they're not giving that to others. They're giving it specifically to them.
Yup. Yup. For them to get trades and teaching them. Yes. Yes. You.
Yeah,
Yup.
just like we've seen job fairs that's specifically for immigrants and refugees, and we're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it took all this to come before even then for some black people to get away from those people, they need help. We shouldn't be like that. They need help too. And you know that how do you know how Venezuela is treating them people?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know what's going on really in Palestine and how do you know this? How do you know the suffering of those people more than you know the suffering on 71st Street and 75th Street?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know the suffering of them Venezuelans more than you know the suffering of your failed school system that your children or grandchildren go to?
Mm.
How do you
Mm.
know more about how they barely eat and they need to eat more than you know about when you go to Jewels and that grocery list this so expensive? You looking at what you can put back and what you can keep. How you know? How you know?
Mm.
How you know that them babies that they bring across the border even belong to them? Why the Democratic Party telling you about how you don't need to have no babies?
Mm.
I'm just trying to figure out how do we know these things that we felt so compelled to stand on and to stand behind and I'm just trying to how do we know? How we know? How you know? Because I'm telling you, I don't know nothing about Venezuela. I don't know
Me.
nothing. I don't know about none of that. I don't know. And whatever I know about that, I know more about my black self more.
Mm, mm, mm.
I know that. I know that. Whatever I think I know about them, I bet you I know more about my black self. I bet you I know more about black people. I bet you I know about the condition of black people in the United States of America more than I know about anything across that border. Want to make a bet? Want to make a bet? Won't make a bet that if we put a globe right here and spend it and told the average nigga to find Venezuela and Palestine, I bet you they couldn't. Won't make a bet?
Are you no, look? You
Won't make
absolutely
a bet? I won't make a bet if we told half these kids that they lesbian, transgender. Won't make a bet half of them can't spell it. Won't make a bet.
mm.
Want to make a bet without going to their phone and hitting. Just give them a pen and paper and say, write it down. Spell it. Want to make a bet? And you feel like you need to give half of your classroom to little Javier, and that the teacher needs to stop wasting time teaching Jamal because they need to speak Spanish to Pedro. Really?
Mm.
You, you.
That's
You don't. You believe that them men that's standing in front of Home Depot, them immigrants, them illegal immigrants, you believe that the only money they make is standing out there?
somebody talk about everyone deserves an education. No, listen. See, this is what I'm talking about.
You don't understand that your children deserve quality education. You don't understand that?
Right, right.
You explain. You don't understand. You don't get that. That when those kids are in your classroom, that teacher have to stop and cater to those kids that don't speak English. You don't get it. That even if they take those kids out and put them in a special classroom, English as a second language and all that, you don't get it. That why these same public schools have been telling black kids for years that there's no money for trades. There's no
Mm,
money for extracurricular programs. There's no money for new books. There's no money for resource programs to help in reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're telling me that you understand that now they suddenly finding millions of dollars to educate illegal immigrants. You understand that? Okay. All right. That's why the timeout that you speak of for 20, 30 minutes to the Democratic Party, we're going to also put some Negroes with them. That need
what?
to think on that. Right. You
We
need to
gonna
think about that. You need
we
to think about why it is that you, as a black person, would be so concerned about them getting education. When your children, your black children, look at the test scores of our children. You don't see that you need to put that same energy on the neck of the Chicago Teachers Union and demand that they put resources back into our schools. Demand that they do quality teaching. You don't see that energy needs to go into yours. Instead, you want to jump over here and be so benevolent to people that absolutely have given you nothing
and
and
see,
ain't gonna give you nothing.
ain't gonna give you nothing. And then somebody gonna say, so y'all racist. No, see,
Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
take
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
If it means that I care for myself and my community, first and foremost, then you say what you will. I could care less. What has been so open-minded and this and that? What has it given us? Where we at? Going out there and look at your empty lots. Go and look at them abandoned buildings. Go ahead. Go ahead, because I feel nothing. Anytime, every morning when I come to City Hall, right there at that metro stop, I'm coming down there and paying my money to talk about this building that has belonged to my family for 61 years. And while I'm waiting for that train, I get the good pleasure of looking at an apartment complex that's full of illegal immigrants right now that ain't had to pay a dime to get up in there. Even got a boat in their lot. And a little dog thing and a little thing carved out in the dog in the door so that the dog can freely come and go. And I can't even freely come and go out of this. If you feel that compelled, huh? Come on. If you telling me that I'm supposed to be more concerned about that than what my mom and daddy worked for and paid for, then then you want to call me a racist? Call it. I don't care. And when you say that, are you able to solve my case?
Right.
Because if you're not able to solve my case, who cares? If
Mm-hmm.
when you say that, are you down in this school board CTU meetings fighting for black kids' education? Because if not, you need to be a part of that timeout. Shut up.
You know what? That's what I
I
keep
want to
telling
see the footage. I want some footage of that Negro being down there capping like that for black kids, students, education. I want to see the footage.
why
Just
our
like you
kids.
chat, just like you typed that in the chat. I want to see you go in front of the school board and tell them about how black kids ain't got proper education.
They won't even come down there and advocate you. They won't even when we go down there. What did we see when you was going off? I showed that video. We had organizations down there. Who were they fighting for? Illegals to get more free everything, get more things. Oh, the taxpayers back in our dollars. And who was sitting in the rows when you went off?
Illegals, illegal
What?
immigrants. And on top of that, Mister, we being racist. Do you understand that that day, the money that was earmarked for Southwest and the West Side, called Southwest Invest, when I first started coming down to City Hall, I started inquiring about that money because that money had been earmarked to the South Side and West Side by Lori Lightfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Before, when I first got here in 2019, it was on the news almost every day about all these monies, all these this funding that was supposed to be going to the South Side and West Side. It was on the news almost every day. Then COVID happened. Once
Mm-hmm.
COVID happened and COVID was over, when we came out of COVID, it was no more talk about that money. Instead, it was all to talk about illegal immigrants.
Mm.
So when we start coming down to City Hall, I start bringing up about where's that Southwest Invest money. And the very first press conference that I ever did in September 2023, you hear me talk about Southwest Invest, where's our money? The Black Caucus president, Stephanie Coleman, when I asked her about it, she told me that that money was a hoax. And I'm like, a hoax? Who is the joke on? Where's our
Right.
money? Only to go to the meeting that you talking about, Danny, a few weeks ago. And what was up on that big screen? Southwest Invest. They was getting ready to talk about how they wanted to build high rises for those illegals.
Show did. Show did.
Again,
Show.
so for everybody who feels like you being racist because you got the good sense to speak up for yourself, then go live in a cave then.
Yeah. And I feel like this. Like you said, if you feel like that, what did you say? They got to die. What you saying? Tell
Yeah,
me.
what we was talking about.
What?
We was talking about the story of the Israel, and really, and that's the reason why I can take this position.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe in it from Genesis to Revelation and everything in between. Yes. Yes. I believe it. So when I get in those spaces, head spaces like what you talking about, where somebody just, well, what about it? And you rating it. I have to take the same position with them that God took with the Israelites
What you say?
in the book of Isaiah.
What he do?
Really, really, you know, for a journey that was supposed to be for 40 days, end up being 40 years. Why? God said it's because they were a stubborn, stupid, stiff necked people. Come on, that's what he said about them. He created them. He called them his chosen people. He loved them, or he wouldn't have brought them out of bondage. He chose the Israelites to show to the world at that time who the real, true, and living God was. Because remember, they
Surely.
were into idolatry. They were into Baal and those type of gods, right? The Egyptians was into those type of gods. So
Mm-hmm.
God chose the Israelites so that the world would see who the real, true, and wise living God was. So they were his
Exactly.
chosen people, right? And he let Moses do all kind of miracles. He led them across the Red Sea, opened up the Red Sea, let them walk across it, swallowed Pharaoh and the army up, got them to the wilderness, gave them the 10 Commandments, the law, guided them with a cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, bread them bread from heaven, manna. And they still couldn't get it. They still wouldn't stop complaining. Still wouldn't have belief to go on to the promised land, to Canaan, the land, what he say, flowing with milk and honey. After seeing all of that, Joshua and Caleb go over there and tell them, yeah, it is true. It's a land flowing with milk and honey, Canaan. And with it, there's grasshoppers over there. We heard it's grasshoppers. And Johnny, what can you do with that? God said you are stubborn, stupid, stiff-necked people. And eventually just let them die out in the wilderness. Just go.
Just
And that's
down.
what I feel at this point. Black people have seen us come through slavery, Reconstruction, sharecropping, Jim Crow, the crack epidemic, the mortgage crisis, you know, and you still somewhere talking about, well, what about them? What about just let them die out? Just
So another, so in other words, Leon today, look, that's you know what? Just Leon,
you have to because what else do you need? Biden and them, the Democratic Party have opened up the border on our black butt, and we still talking about other people.
pushing
You
them all in
still
our pushing them all in our neighborhoods, pushing us out, papering them up with free
literally.
everything, giving them free everything. They getting ready to eat good for Thanksgiving. We starving. Look, if they family eating real good, they got houses, they got apartments, everything free. We got to get one little turkey. May can't get this, may can't get that. They getting their baskets full.
They be having two shopping carts.
And we sit up there, and not only that, this man got the nerve to try to tax us some more. After he
Tax
didn't
us
pay.
some more. I mean, imagine that. You sending me an increased tax bill for me to help pay for that while the court is breaking the law trying to take my property.
Trying to take your property, and these people still in these comments and before I'm voting for Kamala, I'm voting for Democrat. I
Good,
look,
good, good,
I, I feel
good.
I feel
It's
when you
just like
said that.
an atheist.
So another, cause see, I thought in Chicago, right? I
Okay?
thought when they brought these illegals in our neighborhood and was trying to put tent cities and doing and took our schools and our field houses, to me, in my mind, it was no way black people in Chicago was going to ever vote Democrat again, because we were like, oh, hecky no. We were protesting and everything. So in my mind, I was like, okay, black, I know, boy, that's when election comes. These Democrats gonna feel it. It's over for them, right? And here we go. This election,
Hmm.
they mad at us
They mad at us.
because we like, ain't no way that we gonna vote for this garbage. And they calling us sellouts and mad at us, period. I couldn't believe it. I could
Okay.
not believe it. Half of my people, at my clients, was pissed off at me because I'm like, no, I can't do this. Look, y'all broke. Y'all coming down here crying every single day, talking about y'all had to get 2 and 3 jobs just to pay your mortgage, just to get to work. Half of y'all talking and crying to me. And you mean to tell me y'all so far gone that you don't even see that this 4 years ago, y'all was doing amazing, because a lot of them been with me. I know y'all. Y'all was doing
Hmm.
amazing. Some of y'all got jobs. Some of y'all left y'all jobs and started companies, started y'all
Hmm.
own business, small business. My business was doing great. Now, y'all in this from 3 years ago, everybody broke. Y'all so broke. Y'all saying, Danny, can I make payment plans? Danny this, Danny that. We crack. And you mean to tell me I had to convince you
Hmm.
that the Democrats not good for you, or this party don't care about you, this party, and not only that, they putting these illegals in your neighborhood and brought them in, and they crashing out for them saying, look, we're gonna break the city or break the government. We're gonna go broke to house to get them free everything while we go up on your taxes. And y'all get mad at us
Hmm.
because we saying we can't do this. We can't allow this. I can't. So you right. I can't believe it. Let them. When you said that the other day to me, that was like, wow,
I mean,
wow.
that's the piece that I have. I love black people. I love us. I love us. Regardless of our isms or schisms, I got the good sense to know that that's the only group that's going to claim me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I got the good sense to know that that's the only group that I can claim. So I love black people. However, I've come to terms with, if I don't love them more than God does. And if God could take the position of, you are a stubborn, stupid, stiff-necked people and allow you to die in the wilderness, then who am I to stop you? If you
Mm-hmm.
want to be ignorant like that, be ignorant like that. It's not the first time in history we've seen it or have heard about it. Do you believe that every slave wanted to be free?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I, I mean, just do you really believe that every slave, that when they heard the ooh, ooh, ooh signal from Harriet Tubman, that they go, Harriet Tubman, let's get to the Underground Railroad? No, some of them Negroes, ooh, 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 they go, Harriet Tubman, let's go. How you know that's her? How you know that's the Underground Railroad? You already know that. Some Negro, they go to North Star. They say we could follow the North Star to the north. Let's go. Here go a Negro. How you know that's the North Star? How you know that? When the Emancipation Proclamation was signed to tell us that we was free, we could go. You had some black people was like, I'm out, I'm gone. You had some, what else gonna do? Master, can't we stay? That's it. That's just the way it's been. That's the way it's gonna always be. That's the way it's gonna always be. Everybody ain't ready. That's what that passage of scripture shows us. It doesn't matter. Some people, no matter what you show them, no matter what they see, no matter what they experience, they got more fear in them than anything else. You got some black people that the very thought of being independent of the white man just makes them they just don't see how it's possible. And when I
Mm-hmm.
say independent of the white man, I don't mean us living in a whole continent by ourselves with nobody but black. No, I'm talking about being the white man in your mind, understanding that you are just as much a human being as he is or she is, understanding in your mind that you are God's child just as much as they are, understanding in your mind that you are an American and have the rights to this country just as much as they do. It is a lot of black people that they don't
Mm.
get it. They don't get it. And when you start speaking up for yourself, in this day and time, they want to call you a racist. But when I was coming up, they would tell us, look at y'all talking that black shit. Right, it's
Mm-hmm.
always been that type. It's always been that type, and it's gonna always be that type. You let them be where they are. Jesus said, "What? When you go to your hometown and your brother don't receive your message, what he say? Shake the dust, shake
That's
the
right.
dust, and don't sit there and keep on arguing with a numb skull. It's a waste of time." Everybody used to tell us when we first started going down there, y'all need more people than this. That's ain't nothing gonna happen unless y'all got a lot of people. Unless y'all got a lot of people, because they having flashbacks to the '60s. They want us all in the street with a big fish in the air like this. We've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Our parents and grandparents already done that. Why are we doing that? We need to be pushing legislation.
That's right.
The laws are already on the books. They've already did the heavy lifting. Now it's up to us to push it forward. We know what the problems are. We know what the problems are. It's housing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the judicial system.
Yup.
And it's education. Let's start there. Let's just
Mm.
start there. If we don't look no further, all black people can agree that there goes some problems. There go our first immediate problems. If we can deal with those, everything else will fall in
Fall
line.
into place.
Because if we get our relationship with God right and go back to biblical principles, that'll take care of family issues.
Mm. You absolutely right.
Boom. And upon taking care of family issues, you'd be surprised how much that solves economic issues.
Yeah.
Because two heads are better than one. Because two heads are better than one. So it's these type of things. These type of things. We can start with those things right now. We need not play around with the Republican Party like we done with the Democrats all these years. We need not sit up here and act like we still don't know. We still need to meet and talk. We still need to form tax groups. We still need committees. We
We
still didn't
still
know.
need
We know
studies.
exactly. Come on. We
So
know exactly what's wrong. So we need to stop playing, put on our big girl and big boy pants and panties and handle our business, because we already know what to do. And we want to try to somehow get around with dealing with the white man and the institutionalized things. We want to try to evade that. And there's
mm-hmm.
no way we can. We're going to have to fight them aggressively. When I say that, I mean legally,
Mm-hmm.
the way our foreparents had to fight them aggressively, legally, physically, spiritually, mentally. They had every league that they had to fight up against the establishment with. The only thing that we're left with is to deal with them legislatively.
That's it.
And we won't
That's
even
it.
want to do that because we too scared to deal with white folks. We too scared. We 2024 scared if we gonna offend them. Still, don't you say y'all being racist? Y'all being racist. That translates to y'all gonna make white people mad. Y'all gonna make white people mad. Ooh, ooh, they gonna get and everybody in the chat. Make sure you know it wasn't me. I ain't say that. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
agree with that. It ain't me. It ain't me, boss. Why can't me and Zoe get nobody, those black aldermen down there to settle out, to deal with our case? They know what the issues are. They've met with us. They've seen the documentation. They've seen the fraud. They've seen the perjury. There is no doubt there. None, 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 none. But what's the problem? In order to get this done, you got to deal with those white judges. You got to deal with those white public administrators, and they don't want to do that.
And we got all these black. It's funny how we got all these front black faces stacked from top to bottom. We got the mayor, we got aldermen, we got Pertwinkle, we got all these black faces and can't get no help. And the
Can't get
worst,
no
and we
help.
the
Can't get
worst.
no help. And then the white aldermen down there, they know it's true. They know
They
what
know.
me and Joey cases are true, but they don't want to get their white colleagues in trouble. They white
Mm,
brothers. They know those judges. They know those public administrators, but they don't want to get them in trouble. So now you got me and Zoe squished in between, squished in between. But that's the reason why we said what we reaching out to the Republican Party.
that's right. Because you
Not
can't.
so much that right now. Let's get it clear now. Not so much that we think that the Republicans somewhere, black people, rah, rah, rah. Black people, rah, rah, rah. Why would they be? Why does anybody need to be black people, rah, 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 except for us?
That's right.
We need to be black people, rah, rah, rah. Why are we waiting for others to feel that way about us? Are we somewhere talking about white people, rah, 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 Chinese, rah, 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 Mexican, well, it's a caliber of us that are. My, my bad. Some of us are like, we all being racist right now. That would be white people,
Yup.
rah, 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 right. But for the most part, we're not. And we don't need to be. We need to be our biggest cheerleader.
We sure do. We sure do. We sure do. And we had to make a change because when you think about it, Democrats, these black people are right here. And that's sad when you got all these black people and these Democrats in office that's supposed to be, hey, black people, we for you all, and you can't get now one of them to help you. Not one.
Social justice. And here's the thing. Let's
That's
say Alderman Greg Mitchell and Alderman Tyler Farrell, Chris Tyler Farrell, they've tried to help. Let's say I've met with them and who else? Stephanie Coleman, Monique Scott, Emma Mitz, what? Alderman Naps, Brandon Riley, and all of it ends up at the same place. In order for this to get resolved, you got to deal with them white folks, and they don't want to do it. Why? Because they are all of the same party.
mm-hmm.
They are
Mm,
all Democrats. Every last one of these judges are Democrats. Every last one of these public administrators are Democrats. Every last one of the commissioners are Democrats. Every last one of city council members are Democrats. So what they've done to the people of Chicago is literally that cornered us in. They've given
mm-hmm.
us nowhere to go for no help, nowhere to go for pushback, nowhere else, nowhere to go to make the Democrats fix our communities, to make the Democrats do that. There's nowhere to go. You got
Mm.
one kind game after another going on down there. Democrats helping Democrats. So yes, Danny, we needed a change at the federal level so that we can have somewhere to go to get us some help, to get us some assistance, to get us something for the tax dollars that we pay. It doesn't make sense for us to keep on paying all these taxes and we have no proper representation. It's like the Constitution say, you can't have, what is it, taxation with no representation. That's
Representation.
kind of like what's happening to us right now. Not just black people, but definitely black people, but for the citizens of Chicago and for the country, period. We are literally in real time experiencing taxation with no representation.
That's so true. Yep. Yep.
There, there is nowhere that my tax dollars are showing what I'm paying.
Could you imagine if she got in office, what would happen?
I don't want to imagine it. I don't
They
want to
could,
imagine it.
could you
First of all, no, because she's not a commander in chief. Her nor Tampon Tim.
mm-hmm. And
They
she
are not equipped to secure this country and keep us safe.
and she already she already showed what we already knew she was incompetent. But
Yeah,
just right now, for her to be $20 million in debt and still haven't paid the people that worked for her and her campaign, and she going off to Hawaii on a and her people right now can't even get paid. They saying it's the holiday. They don't know what they gonna do, how they gonna feed their family and everything. And she going off and just don't care. And you $20 million in debt, and you were what $1 billion she had to spend. Could you imagine
can you imagine?
if she was over the United States of America? She already can't handle money, budget, everything. We showed that when she was a vice president, it showed us how incompetent she was. But can you imagine if she won? Because now you're looking at, you see all those illegals that's on their way to the border, trying to get here before Trump,
Mhm.
trying to get here
Getting
before Trump
over.
get in. And Biden has loosened up a lot of those policies so they can get over here. Can you just imagine if this lady would have won? That would have been, we already got like 22 million illegals here. That would have been millions more.
Double, double, double. Can you imagine the state of schools if you got a vice president that put into law that tampons should be in boys' bathrooms? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the school system continually saying that parents cannot be told about if their children want to transition and taking these puberty pills, and how they don't have to tell you if your child want to be into something like that? They what's the other one? That it's a law that if my 12-year-old
Yup,
tell me that she want a sex change, and if I don't go along with it, they can lock me up.
yup,
Do
yup.
you want more of that? You want more of that? It doesn't even make any kind of sense to be upset that that didn't. But the night she lost, the night of the election, she didn't even go address her own alma mater up there at Howard. Why they done set up here and stuffed it down our throat for months now about how black she is because she went to a HBCU, because she went down. Now here it is, election night, and you leave those very people at that HBCU hanging. You gonna tell me you not gonna run for a post? Look how in her interviews how she would get frustrated and flustered when those questions would come. You telling me that she needed to be sitting down at the United Nations table representing the United States? See, at some point you're just talking about what's silly.
Mhm.
You needed a picture on your wall to show the first quote unquote black woman president, even though she ain't a black woman. That's how hard up some black people are for a hero. A woman that she's not even black. You know she's not black. You know she's not black.
And
And
she's like, and she's so see, I just
silly. It's
can't.
silly.
It's so crazy to me to see and understand that people do not understand the bullet we dodge that God allow us to dodge. See, we experiencing it because we dealing with it right here, firsthand. Could you imagine if she won? You wouldn't be able to get no help because now you got a chance to get some help. But could you imagine? So I wouldn't be able to get no help because illegals would be all in my neighborhood. The schools already flooded with illegal children. Our kids can't even read. I got teachers saying that we have Dannc it's so many of these illegal kids and one we already overcrowded. We was already overcrowded. Now we got 20 to 30 more illegals who can't even speak English in the classroom. Now you got more coming in, and we are a sanctuary city, so you know, and giving them free everything. So you know where they coming. They coming to all the sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what we would have had to endure? It's already real, real bad. Economy, the illegals, all that. Could you imagine if God didn't intervene and listen to our cries and let this woman get into office? It would be third world Americans sit now, they living good. The illegals, they great. They paper up, they getting free schooling, free medical, free everything. They gonna eat good this Christmas. I mean, this holidays. They kids
Thanksgiving.
gonna get a bunch of stuff. We the ones right now are going to be hurting because we broke from this
And then
economy.
on top of that, Danny, not only are they getting ready to go and buy their turkeys and all this and that, watch this. When these places pass out turkeys and stuff, they gonna be in line before you. Wanna make a
They
bet?
we was just walking over here. I mean, we was just driving, right? And it's this church that always
Okay.
it's a like a field house. It ain't even a church, but it's bad church. And they give out free, stuff. I said, babe, look at that. And it's in a black neighborhood. It's, our why all you saw was Venezuelans and stuff in that line. You saw like black people way at the back, and they get there early and first. But I couldn't believe it. Me and my husband just looked at that, and it's just like all the resources they're taking, y'all already getting free everything, and you want to
Everything.
tax the taxpayers. And this is what y'all thought we was gonna vote for, black people. And y'all, first of all, it's sad that y'all couldn't even wake up to understand and see what was going on. But that y'all, that just showed me, and that's almost to the point where that's when I started saying, damn, do we even have a chance? Like I'm almost thinking it's kind of like too late for us. You know what I'm saying? That's how I started feeling when I just saw how black people still voted for this lady, especially in Chicago, especially in all these New York, California. I just couldn't believe how many black people voted for this, knowing what was going on. I'm just like, Lord, are we just gonna be like stupid forever? Like it hurt me. It
Yeah.
hurt.
I'm gonna tell you, it really did. And I'm gonna tell you, up until the election, just being nervous because possibly facing the reality of that were were we really gonna be that stupid?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Were we really gonna be that stupid? To be honest with you, that was one of my biggest fears.
Me.
Because I remember in that last election when Trump and Biden had that election and Biden won. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was the first time ever, for real, for real. It was the first time ever in my life that I really felt embarrassed to be black.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
had
felt it.
never felt that before in my life, Danny. I mean that until the next day when I went outside and I literally I was embarrassed that we could be that far gone. And after a while, when you start seeing how horrible of a job that they were doing, you know, then it kind of subsided the feeling a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
then when this election came and you start seeing how people wasn't gonna mess with Biden and did it, okay, all right,
That's what I
everything
right,
good,
right,
really
right.
good, all right. But then when they jumped up with the Carmella piece and you start seeing that complete flip like that, I'm like you. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Is this really gonna happen? But I had to remind myself of what I know is true, and that is black people might have that big hold on the Democratic Party in terms of the big percentage that we vote Democratic. However, the reality is we don't control the vote.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big voting block of the Democratic Party in terms of the high percentage that we as a group vote, but we do not control the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I just rest in my mind that, well, white boys ain't gonna let that happen. Now we can run off to the poll all day and keep hitting that Democratic button, but I knew white boys ain't finna let that happen. Them white men and them white women finna go vote for Trump. Them Asians getting ready to go vote for Trump. Those Americanized Latinos that quote unquote assimilate over into white, they gonna vote for Trump. So I just sat back and let them do it. And let the black folks just go ahead and run to the Democrats. You see that it showed that it was a smaller percentage of black people that voted, that showed up to vote. And
Mm-hmm.
but of the blacks that showed up to vote, it still was a large percentage that voted Democrat. It's
That
just that a bigger percentage than ever did not show up to vote because you had the quote unquote couch vote.
right, right. That's what I'm saying. And the percentage that did vote for her, it was I just couldn't
I
believe
couldn't
it.
believe it. I couldn't believe it. I
And
couldn't
that's
believe it.
scary. That's just so scary to see how this, like you said, in the wilderness, God gave them manna from heaven. He gave them the every part of the Red Sea. He gave them so many signs and so many I'm with you and this and that,
And they still,
and they
and they
still
still.
was just
Hmm.
like, nope, you know what I'm saying? A still hard. And then that's why I see they haven't did anything for black people. Not only that, on top of that, they put these illegals and paper them up in front of y'all in your neighborhood when they told you they didn't have nothing. And y'all still went and crashed
Still,
out and crashed.
still, they still a
I don't know.
stupid, stubborn, stiff-necked people. At some point, you just accept that. If you believe that God is absolutely right, that He is all knowing, then if that's what he said a situation is, then that's what the situation is. Don't try to make it different than it is. Don't try to figure it out. No, accept this is what he said it is. And he got more wisdom and more love than all of us put together. And when he sat back and he observed it and he put this in this category and that category, he determined that the issue was that they are a stubborn, stupid, stiff necked people. But God, in his wisdom, he created what is it? A remnant. That's what Joshua and Caleb were. Come on. And some of us will be the remnant that we move on because we can't continue on in this level of ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I'm not talking about the level of education. I'm not talking about how much money a person has or don't have. No, no, I'm talking about the desire to just not want to know.
So that's you know what, and we was talking because that was so what you said this remnant. So that's in other words, we was laughing because you was like, Daddy, y'all let anybody you could say anybody can come in to Chicago flip red, but I'm checking their DNA. You was like, I'm not anybody can't come in because they if they DNA ain't like you said that remnant. That was so profound to me. I was like, oh God, like that's serious.
Yeah, it's serious because everybody ain't cut the same way. Like when you be hearing people all the time say, black people not a monolith. We not exactly. Everybody ain't cut the same way. Some people, again, ran for the Underground Railroad when they heard Harriet Tubman. Other ones, I ain't going. I ain't going. Even when you look at the story of Harriet Tubman, don't you see it in the story? It says when some of the slaves got to a certain point, they would get scared and say, "No, I'm going back. I'm going back." And the story is that she would hold a gun to their head and tell them, "Either you gonna keep going, or I'm gonna kill you right here. Come on." Come on,
Hmm.
come on. Because what? We let your scary butt go back. You ain't gonna do nothing but tell master everything.
Where we at
You
and
gonna tell
everything.
where we at with your scary self. So either you gonna come on, or either I'm gonna kill you right here.
That's that's deep. Like you said, if you ain't if you ain't if you ain't about that life, if your DNA ain't that, then don't even try to be a part of Chicago Flip
Don't get
Spread.
right.
When you
No, don't. We taking DNA. What kind of lineage you got? What kind
that's
of lineage you got? Because if it's in your DNA to be scary, you will say, "What about y'all sounding racist? What about it? Check that nigga DNA. Check that DNA. Check that." I bet you check his DNA. He from that lineage that stayed with Massa until Massa was broke.
mm, mm. That's some serious. When I thought about that, that's what made me say, when you hear this talk, I said, you know what? It is what it is. I really don't, I'm not trying to, if you don't see it, it is what it is. I don't care no more. I'm not trying to save you, you know what I'm saying, or get you to see the detriment that you in or what you doing. I'm done with it. It's
I'm
gonna be
done.
whoever going, let he who had ears hear.
There you go.
And if you don't, then stay where you at. But at this point, when you said that, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna care who got a problem with what I'm doing, how I'm moving, who I'm voting for, who I'm Trump. If I'm going here and there, I don't have a problem no more. Because if you don't see that now, our situation, our neighborhoods, then this is not just right now, this is years. If you don't see our neighborhoods, our kids, how we haven't had an economic growth period. We're the bottom is blacks and then it's Hispanics. If out of all these years your loyalty to one party, and if you don't see and that party been in control of your city and your state for a long time, and you don't see that they then everything that you've been asking them for, they could have gave you, but they kept saying we ain't got it. When we was going down there talking about our schools, we ain't got it. But they can
Hmm.
take a person or a people who haven't paid a dime in the system and paper them up and get them everything we've been asking for. If y'all can't see that, then it's over. I'm done with it. I can care less. You can sit there and rock, like you said, go in the corner with them for 20 or
Yeah,
30 years. But do not say anything to me. Don't come around. Don't say nothing. If you're not moving on that train, then go over there with them. I'm done
yeah,
with it. That's
yeah.
that's what you're right. I had to come to that conclusion that it is what it is. I don't care no more. If they go, and then you got these mayors and governors crashing out. Brandon Johnson, no, we bankrupt. And he gonna still say he not gonna let Trump come in and get these people. Now these people are bankrupting us. And then
Bankrupt.
you won't even crash out for the people of the community and the people of Chicago, but all y'all Democratic ran cities, all y'all standing up there talking about y'all go to jail if before y'all let Trump come and get these illegals. Y'all will go bankrupt before you let Trump get
Come
these
on,
illegals.
come
And
on.
they now one of them crashed out for you, and y'all still gonna go and say I'm a Democrat for this part. You dumb as rocks. I don't even want to be around you. Like I really don't even. You're thinking. I can't even be
You're thinking,
around.
you're thinking, you're thinking. Michael Rodriguez just said the other day on the clip that you showed for your audience the other day. What did he say? That we're willing to take him to court, Trump to court about this. So he's willing to take, we're $1 billion in debt, and he's willing to take more taxpayers' money to fight Donald Trump in court to keep illegals here. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. You don't see nothing wrong with the fact that once what's his name, Rodriguez and Vasquez and Fuentes and all them others down there, you don't understand that once they run this to the ground, they got countries that they can go back to. We ain't got nowhere else to go. They don't. The average Negro in this chat that's still talking about y'all being raised. Yeah. Do you understand that while you barely making it here, that those Hispanic aldermen, they're
Mm-hmm.
working just like their other family and friends are working, and they paying for what they got over here, and they paying for stuff over in their other country. When
That's
they
right.
finish working here, they getting ready to go retire in a house over there that will take your breath away. That's gonna look 10 times better than any house that you think you gonna have over here. Any money that we get, it goes right back into the American economy. All
That's
our
right.
money goes right in, whether we keep it in our neighborhoods, whether we keep it in our community, and it still goes back into the American economy. Just like if we get reparations and you hear people, only thing black people gonna do is go spend it. Only thing they gonna do is go spend it. Well, even if we do, we putting it back in the economy upon which we live. You
Mm-hmm.
give these people money and they're not putting all of it back into the economy. They putting a little bit over here and putting a lot over there. And you still don't see why you need to think about yourself first. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. It's ignorant for me to care more about the little girl and little boy that live across the street than I do about making sure that my own children have shoes on their feet. Who am
Mm.
I trying to impress? Who thinks that's godly?
That's who think that's godly.
Who think that's godly? Who's going to give me a blue ribbon and a silver cup for that? Because I and bought some shoes for a little girl and little boy across the street, and my son and my daughter sitting here with their heels ran over, with the holes in the bottom of their shoe. Who is going to look at me and say, now, Miss Jackson, that was really kind of you. That was beautiful. That was sweet. And then here come my two children and they feet toe up. Who? Who? And if they told me that, why would I believe it? What is wrong with me that I would care more about them kids across the street? I understand that they children. Before you hit me with that. Well, they kids,
Right,
they
right, right.
before you hit me with that. The issue is I have two of my own. I have
Mm-hmm.
two of my own
That's
that
right.
I carried. Two of my own. And you're telling me that I'm not supposed to, that I'm some type of something, hero, caring person, because I take my money and buy this and leave. Now, for somebody, well, you can buy both their shoes
That's
and their shoes. That's not what's happening here. Because clearly that's not happening here. Because number
right.
one, we're $1 billion in debt. So
Right,
clearly
right.
we can't afford to buy more shoes.
That's that's what that's
We are $1 billion in debt. So clearly we cannot afford to buy more shoes. Our communities have lots in them, empty buildings in. So clearly the money is not being given to us and to them. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That is only applicable if my children have nice shoes. I got a surplus of money. And then I say, with my surplus of money, I go get some kids' shoes across the street. But nowhere does anybody tell you. The Bible says if a man don't take care of his own home, he's worse than an infidel. So once again, are you more benevolent and caring than God? I think not. I think you're suffering from ignorance.
Right. That's right.
God himself tells you to do for your own first.
They
When
say
you get
amen.
on an airplane, it says you put the mask on your face first if it's an accident. Put the mask on your face first, then put it on your children. How can you save your children if you don't get the oxygen and you die? You know, when you go and look for somewhere to live, you looking for an apartment that can accommodate you and your children. You're
That's
not
right.
looking to put your children inside and you go and sleep on the bench.
That's right. That's right.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
And that's where we at. And that's
That's where
where
we are. That's
that's where
where
we
we
at.
are.
That's when we say,
It doesn't
why
even
you
make any sense.
it
If you
don't
look, Danny, we all grew up in the black church. The majority of us grew up in the black church. You know, like I know, you can go to a black church for 50 years and pay your
Mhm.
tithes and offering for 50 years. When you get married, they still want you to pay for your wedding.
That's right.
When you die, they still gonna make your family pay for your eulogy.
They
And
sure
here
is.
it is, the same churches are sitting here taking your tithes and offering and housing for illegals.
That and oh, you know what? I just did when I on one of my lives. I just showed
Okay.
where in Chicago, a legal been here for 2 years in a church. Miss Jessica, listen, the church, and you probably know,
Yeah, that Catholic priest.
rehab they home, rehab the home, build the everything, and pay and gave this to these illegals. Your church, if that's
And
not a
they've
sign,
been here for 2 years. For 2 years, and I can't get the same county to transfer ownership over to me and my sisters on a building that's ours and been paid for 62 years. And you still want to say, what? I know it's more to it than that. It's more to it than that. Okay. Look, okay. That's coming from somebody who, either your parents aren't leaving you anything or either you don't have anything to leave your children. Because if you did, then you would be willing to listen. You would be willing to listen and learn. The mere
mhm,
fact that you're not willing to listen and learn, it means that the conversation doesn't apply to you. It's just like talking to a corpse, trying to convince them that God is real because you're breathing. You can't see that because you're a corpse.
that's right.
You don't breathe. It's just that simple. It does not apply. Because if you are a person that's alive and you're breathing, and I'm telling you, trust in God, trust God. Your first hint that I maybe can is because I'm breathing. I'm breathing. So
Hmm.
I'm open to,
Hmm.
what you're telling me to pray and trust God. Because after all, I'm breathing. But I
Hmm.
cannot tell that. What's the point of telling that to a corpse?
You're right. You're right.
At some point, it's like talking to a corpse. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply.
You're right.
Because if you own and know that you want to pass it to your children, even if you think that why would you not be open-minded to find out? Why not ask me a question in the chat? Why not say, well, What about this? Is it this? And give me the benefit of being able to answer you that question or show you the document to substantiate what the answer would be to that question. You're not capable of doing that because you don't even know what questions to ask because you don't own and nobody has left you anything. So the only thing you know how to do is sit there and say silly little comments because you got a small little economic life.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And do I keep saying they don't have a dog in this fight. They don't have nothing to,
You don't
and they
have a
don't.
dog in this fight. You
You don't
don't.
have.
You don't. You don't. You don't. You don't own anything. You don't have any children, so you don't care about the condition of the schools. You like they say, you don't see us no further than the tip of your nose.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So this conversation is not applicable. When my parents bought this building and paid it off and had children and did it, they had foresight. They didn't care just about them. They cared about their children. I'm fighting for this building because I got foresight. I care about my children. I understand that this is part of their generational wealth. They
Mm.
understand why I'm fighting because they understand that it will get passed to their children. See,
Wow, that's true.
foresight. But when you don't have foresight, when your parents didn't have it, you don't have it, then you don't pass to your child. Again, the purpose of checking DNA to see who you rock with. Because if this ain't got nothing, ain't from nothing, don't know to want nothing, then this is why this is a conversation that's above that person's head. You don't know that your children should have the right to walk outside the door with their backpacks and go to a school that got quality in it.
That's right.
That it shouldn't have to be like P. Ray, who got to take 3 freeways to get her
So
baby from the west side to Kenwood.
that's right. Yup.
You don't see nothing wrong with that? Only because you ain't got no children, don't want no children, ain't gonna be bothered with no kids. And so you don't have to worry about taking anybody anywhere. Just take your own self from one room to the other in your low income paid for apartment or whatever. And then, yeah. This conversation is not for you. It's just like if somebody coming here and you say you got a workout today to help you lose 200 pounds. That conversation is not applicable to me because I'm
That's
not
right.
trying to lose 200 pounds.
That's it.
Rather than me poking holes in your routine and telling you about how about I accept that this conversation is not
It's
applicable
not
to me
for me.
and
That is
come
true.
back when you're doing a thing on, like you say, on abs. Now I tune in.
Now I can go. You're right. You right.
Now I can tune in.
So let me ask
And
you
I can
this,
put
Miss
on my
Jessica.
listening ears
Uh,
and I can walk away with something because I got an open mind to what
That's
it
true.
is that you're trying to tell me and I'm trying to learn. But to sit up here and just keep, I don't know, poking holes in your theory of how to get rid of 200 pounds, and I'm not 200 pounds, why am I doing that? Either I don't know what 200 pounds is, or I'm just trying to agitate you.
That's right. Let me ask you this, and a couple of things, and then we. So everybody keep asking you or asking me why Miss Jessica won't run for mayor or run for something. They all want you to run. I'm not. I'm not. They keep saying, "Will she please run for something because she would make a difference?" Like, what's your thoughts on that? If you know, because I told them somebody on TikTok, even though they probably, but I said that I'm gonna act because they asked me to ask you that in the chat.
They asked you to ask me that in the chat tonight
No, on
or
TikTok, and
before.
it's terrible because I don't know. They probably not even. But they asked me to ask you to. Can you please ask her? Will she run for something? And like that. And I said I will. And or if
I
not, why won't
don't,
you?
I don't want to run for nothing. Number one, that would be another job. I'm
Mm,
already retired. Okay, I'm already retired. I put my time in. Okay,
mhm.
I'm right now. I'm living off the fruits of my labor. I'm looking to enjoy my children and my grandchildren. Number two,
Mhm.
um, I can move much better like this. I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't have to
That's
uh
right.
right, I don't have to move this way or move that way. I don't have to be careful not to do that. I can move how I want to move. And that's
Mhm.
very important to me that I move how I want to move. I don't to be more effective.
That's right.
I need that freedom. Okay.
Mhm.
And then number three, if you run for stuff now, you getting money from this organization or money from that organization,
Yep.
and anytime money gets in the mix, it's gonna make it messy.
Mm. Mhm.
One reason why we able to move how we moving as a group is because money ain't involved.
That's right. That's right. We free. We
We
free.
free. Right. I'm down there because of my situation. Zoe down there because of her mother's housing situation. You come down there because them people got them restaurant tables at the end of your block that's getting on your nerve. No, but you see what I'm saying? That's our motivation.
That's
Now,
right.
as things continue to move forward, we grab hold of this issue and that issue along the way. But
Mm.
our reasons for coming down there are our personal reasons.
That's right.
And that's the motivation, not
That,
somebody giving us some money, not somebody trying to give us a title, not
that's
somebody trying
right.
to give us an office. What motivates us is for us to do what we're doing for our own selves, and the rippling effect of that has reached out to other people all the way until you see what's happening with us today and the impact that we've had. We've had an impact on the city. We've had an impact on the nation, and it hasn't taken a lot of money to do it. It
Right.
hasn't taken a political position to do it. We, even as the people, sometimes, and I do understand the power of the vote. It goes without saying, it's a very powerful tool. It clearly it is, but we can't lose sight of the fact of all the leverage and all the gain that our
Mhm.
people had before we could even vote.
That's
Before
right.
we even had the power to vote, we made leaps and bounds of progress from
That's right.
slavery until the 1965 Voting Act. We
That's
need to
right.
be mindful of that everything doesn't lay in a voting ballot. That
That's
is
right.
plenty we can do outside of that. And it's the same thing with us as organizations and political people. Be mindful that it's a whole lot you can do without even being in a political seat, in a
Right.
political office. What it takes is the purpose of it. What it takes
Mhm.
is dedication, perseverance,
That's right.
courage.
That's right.
None of those things come with a ballot. Those things have to do with who we are as individual people. Days I go down there, I'm by myself.
That's
I'm not,
right.
ain't
That's true.
nobody with me.
That's right.
Zoe
Right.
sitting down there, sometimes Zoe down there by herself. Ain't
That's right.
nobody down there with her because what
Mm.
she's down there for is not predicated on other people. It's predicated on her mother. When
Mhm.
I'm down there, it's not predicated on other people. It's predicated on my mother's estate. If you go down there, it's not predicated on us. It's because those people got those tables out there. It's
Those
because you know
illegals.
all the
Those
right.
illegals. That's
You know
yep.
what I'm saying? You got all these permits and this and that they try to make you have as a small business owner. While you looking at these other people not have to go through any of those things. That's what
That's right.
motivates you.
That's right.
So it's more important that we have people that are willing to be consistent than it is for us to have people that's running after office.
That's right.
And the last reason why I'm gonna run real talk
Mhm.
is because you know why? Because I believe that too many people in this town
Mhm.
would be tempted to vote for me because I'm black. because I'm black. We don't need no more of that. We need to give ourselves an opportunity to pick a candidate because they are the best candidate. Not because they black, not because they this, that, but because they are the best candidate and give
That's
this city an opportunity to straighten itself out. Put a candidate in there that has political science knowledge, knowledge of politics. It's one thing to be an activist, and it's another
mm-hmm.
thing to be a politician.
So you saying now this wait a minute. That's now what you just said now is kind of serious. You saying like because another thing is you think that people will not even look at your qualifications. They'll look at you and just say because you black,
And
they'll
been
vote for
out
you.
here and been out here. Da, da, da. And look how many people in City Hall right now are in there because they are activists.
Brandon Johnson was supposed to be a
Come
so-called
on, yeah, come on. What do they call it? An organizer? Either they classify themselves as an organizer or an activist. And look at what we have. Look at what we have. Yancey, what do we have? An activist. That's
mm,
completely ineffective. Jeanette Taylor, an
yeah.
activist. Come on. Hall, activist. Robinson, activist. Look at that. And they're completely Clay, I think she was supposed to be an activist. And I got a degree in accounting. So I understand budget. And I'm not saying I wouldn't probably do a good job because I understand budget because I'm accounting. That would definitely give me a leg, up and in
Right.
there. But at the same time, you need to understand political science. You need to understand politics. You need to have a
Yeah.
thorough understanding of government. Yes, I've had some political science classes. Of course, that goes with my undergrad degree. Okay. But when you're talking about being in charge of a ward, or
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about being in charge of a city,
Yeah. Yeah.
in all fairness to the people, know what it is that you're doing. And the way that we get away with this in our black neighborhoods is because a lot of us in these under resourced areas are a lot of people that have low education,
Yep.
low economic resources. So when you come before them and you just, yeah, because it ain't right what we do, and did it, all they want, kind of, so to speak, is a voice for them.
Mm.
And you can put yourself as the voice for them only to get in City Hall, but you don't know what to do to maneuver to actually help them. You
That's
don't know
right.
how to maneuver legislation
That's
and
real.
political things in order to actually help these people. And it keeps you in this perpetual state of giving them promises,
Oh,
letting
that's
them know how
real.
you understand about the way they feel and that you did it, but that's as far as you can go because you don't have the tools to move it any further, and then you become vulnerable, to people like Brandon Johnson, who can make you can manipulate the way
Vote
you
you.
vote and the way that
Yes.
you stand because you don't know what to do to challenge him. You don't know what to do to challenge him. You don't know what to do to stop him.
That's
You don't
real.
know what to do to put something in front of him that's for the same community that you're speaking up for. But if he says no, tell me why they couldn't stop him from taking shot spotter. They don't have
Right.
the
Right.
tool. They don't have the
Right.
tool. Why can't they help me? They look for everybody who think, and this is something other than that. Do you understand that Alderman Mitchell, Alderman Talaferro, they had, and Commissioner Bill Lorry's Chief of Staff, Lamont Williams, had a meeting with the public administrators on September 19th, 2024. In that meeting, they showed them the fraudulent documents that they had signed, that the public administrators had signed. Those public administrators that signed that fraudulent document was in that meeting with them. With
Mm-hmm.
them. Do you know that they got up from that meeting. Do you know that those aldermen and stuff ain't coming after no public administrators? And they sat in the meeting with them. I want you all to understand what I just said. They sat in the meeting with them and
Listen.
showed them that they had signed those fraudulent documents. It's right here. But do you know that they don't have the tools to know how
Mm.
to take them white boys down? They too scared of, well, what if they take their asses down?
Mm.
This is the position that we'll find ourselves in over and over again. If when we go to slating Republican candidates, we need to look at what is their political background.
Mm-hmm. The experience. What have they? That's it. You're right. We need to
What
know.
did
That's
they
why.
stand on before coming to this table? We need to see the evidence of what you were doing before then.
That's right. That's what I was saying on my life. We not no longer. We're not doing identity politics. We're not doing none of that. What do you, how you qualify? What do, let's see your background. Let's see the policies you voted for, how long you've been doing this. What have you, what laws have you implemented in? What were, and how were they implemented? How have you handled situations? What were you over? What we need to see all that. You see
We
what I'm
need to see
saying?
all that because look at this, Danny. Look how much we hear in the news. People, where all the homelessness in the wood. What about the homelessness? Come on. And all the times that we've been down there, Danny, when have you ever seen a homeless organization come down there and advocate for homelessness?
I haven't.
I haven't. I haven't. You hear all this. What about the vets? What about the vets? When have we seen an organization for vets come down there and fight for them? You haven't. When have you seen those councilmen, aldermen, stand up and fight for the homeless? You haven't. When have you heard them stand up and say we need to do something about our educational system? They haven't. When have you heard them stand up and say, we need to do something about the conditions of our family and family counseling? They haven't. When have you heard them say, we need to do something for the dropout rate in our communities? They haven't. When have you heard any one of those aldermen stand up and say, we need economic development in the Black communities? They have not. These are things that they have. The only conversation, when have they ever said we need more grocery stores in our neighborhoods? They haven't. When have they said we need more health conscious eateries in our communities? They
They
haven't.
haven't.
The only thing that you have heard them talk about in a whole 2 years almost that we've been down there is money for illegal immigrants
Wow, that's
and
so true.
subsidized and affordable housing. That is it. You have not heard them address not one other problem in our community. And why? Because they don't have the tools to do so.
You
They
right.
don't have the tools to deal with what it's going to take for our educational system. All they know is that when they were activists, that they told their community, yeah, our schools ran down. We need better schools than
Mhm.
this. We need better schools than that. But they had absolutely no idea how to go about getting the legislation pushed to actually correct our schools, to actually correct the curriculum of our schools. Therefore, when you had things being put on the ballot, like this LBGT, all this and that in the curriculum, they didn't have the tools to stop it. They didn't
That's
have
right.
the tools to fight against it. All they could do is sit back and literally let this type of stuff get put into our curriculum. They don't have the tools to say this TIF money. No, you don't use it for the corporations up there. That's for these buildings in blighted areas, which would be considered the south side and west side, for
That's right.
buildings that are 35 years old and older. They don't have the tools to go up against those white boys to say, you're going to stop
That's right.
misusing our money per this rule, that law, and be
That
willing
is,
to fight this
yes,
and file this injunction. To do the things that actually stop them and get us some help and move the needle. They don't have it. They
you're
don't
right.
have it. They just don't have it. This is why we got to go ahead and get them out before we end up with nothing.
That's
Before we
so
end up under the ground. Because the people in the positions in this city don't have it. Did you see that picture of Brandon Johnson? That's
yes.
so shown in there. What about him? Show me one thing about him that shows that he has what it takes to run this city. No. You see that picture and
Yeah,
you see exactly why we are in the predicament that we in. And everybody in City Hall know it.
you right. You right. You right. You
Mm-mm,
right. That's
mm-mm.
why I feel like when people and this is why when people are up there crashing out on the Democrat Party and these black people, Trump didn't have no black people in his cabinet. Trump haven't appointed no black people. I said, you see how stupid black people still are. You
We looking to
still
bring that
looking.
same mentality over to the Republican Party.
You trying to bring that same mentality over to this party. I don't care if he put all blue people in his cabinet. Long as they qualified, know what they doing, they gonna get the job done that we need done. I don't care if he had no black face because we have all black faces and don't nobody know how to get nothing done. Everybody dumb as rocks, or everybody can't do what they can't do nothing because they scared of, like you said, the white man. They scared of the Democratic machine. So I don't give me a face, a black face. Don't give me nothing. If he can be purple and can get is qualified to do the job and do what I need him to do, I can care less. That's how stupid to me when I was seeing that. I said, people still, black people still Al Sharpton, all them still don't get it. We don't. The last 4 years we done been through was so bad. We don't care if he don't have not one black person on that cabinet. Y'all
I
black people
can
be
care
talking.
less.
Joe Biden had LGBT,
John
John,
Pierre.
yeah, all of them, and they was the terrible, the worst administration. Period. Look how bad we are. And he put all, he supposed to be so diverse, LGBTQ, a black person, a Hispanic, all that, and they were terrible. I don't care if it's, I didn't care if it was all white. I'm just gonna be honest.
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just
I
gonna
don't
be
care if
honest.
it was all white.
I don't care. I don't
Don't
care.
ask. Don't, because you ain't got to give me a black face. We already got a whole bunch of black faces, and we can't get one thing done.
Not one.
Not one thing. So if you give me people who are qualified and gonna get the job done, man, I can care less. And
I could care less.
that's where we are at this point. That's why I keep saying we on a mission to flip Chicago red, Illinois, and it's a lot of people, Miss Jackson, that's in New York and California. They keep saying, "Hey y'all, when y'all when y'all do this, can y'all just start coming to different places like Chicago flips red?" I'm serious. Like on my TikTok, you should see it's like 10,000 people that be on my live. And they be the questions, they be keep saying, "Hey, could you think that you, Miss Jackson, and Zoe Flip Chicago Flips Red, can just come and just start, because we're watching, could just start helping us here, just movements all over all over." And I'm like, I'm like, because Miss Jackson, like, hey, I don't know, but they want to know that. You see what I'm saying? They really want to know because they like, y'all, we see what y'all doing, and like you said, we see what y'all getting done. So I just be like, okay, well, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know, but I don't know, but for right now, our mission right now, seriously, in Chicago, is to shine the light because we cannot afford for Chicago to, in these last, what, 2 more years? What is it, year and a half, to
About a
vote
year and a half.
another, yeah, to vote another Brandon Johnson in the office, and we cannot afford to for Chicago to vote or Illinois to vote another Prisker in office
Mm-mm,
and
mm-mm,
a Winkle. So
mm-mm,
we have to
mm-mm.
shine a light because we said what we say we're gonna start on Fridays.
Yeah.
What we to get these aldermen, to get these people to get these aldermen and get qualified aldermen in office, right?
Right. Right.
So what we say we gonna start doing on gonna start doing
What we say, make you famous Friday.
make you famous Friday. And we gonna start how you be calling them out down there, how you be like, look, making sure you call them, we gonna start calling those aldermen out and bringing them to the forefront, and we gonna make them famous, right?
We're gonna make them famous. We're gonna make them famous for the good that they do, and we're gonna make them famous for the not so good. And we're gonna let the audience determine what you think about this alderman. We're just gonna bring the facts. We're gonna bring the good, we're gonna bring the bad. If you got something to add to it, then add to it. But we just gonna talk about that one alderman.
Mm-hmm.
That particular segment is going to be dedicated to that particular alderman so that you have a clear understanding of who this alderman is and why it is that you might want to keep him and why it is that we're determined to get him gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of this, as some of it, it'll end up in a mutual space, and then some of it end up in a space that's not mutual. But that's okay. Everybody don't agree all the time about nothing. Only thing we're gonna do is present the facts.
They
Because
said
when
yes.
we
They said yes. Make them famous. Here we go.
make them
We see.
famous, baby. We're gonna make them famous. Cause you know who I got that from actually. Demetra K. Demetra K. and Donovan one day just she was showing this clip about some white woman that had got out of pocket with this brother or something, and then she said something like she must want to be famous. I guess we need to make her famous, something like that. And I started cracking up, and that was like months ago. But then when I did that clip that day, it just came and make them famous, and I think that that's an appropriate path to take. Make them famous. Anytime you want to be disrespectful to the public speakers, you want to keep ignoring us, you want to keep making us stand ourselves, you want to be famous. You want people to know you. You want people to know you. Well, let us help you out. Let us help you out. Because after all eyes is on Chicago right now. So what better place for them to get to know who you are, but right here with us. We're gonna make you famous. We're gonna make you famous. Now, if you good, we're gonna make you famous for being good.
Yeah. They talk about absolutely yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. You all to know who the alderman is gonna be, if that's your particular alderman or alderman that you had thoughts about or worried about. Have your questions ready. Have your questions ready. It's nothing wrong with engaging in intelligent conversation. That's gonna help move the needle. Us having
Mm-hmm.
open political conversations, talking about what it is that we see when we go down there. This is not for entertainment. This is for us to do better. Now, we are entertainment. For sure we are. However, it's not for entertainment. It's for us to do better.
Yeah.
We need to do better. And we got all the tools as Black people to do better. Now, for those of us who haven't come into that awakening yet, it is
Mm.
what it is. Some of you will learn. You know how people tell you, and you start talking about Trump, and what's the first
Mm.
thing they want to tell you? We gonna see. We gonna see. We
Oh,
sure are.
you
Because we've
sure?
seen for 60 years what the Democrats have done, and you waited patiently for that big old bowl of nothingness. So yeah, for these 4 years, we gonna see. We gonna see. We sure are gonna see. You gonna see how you gonna deal with that. Just like I had to deal with a lousy Kamala Harris and a lousy Joe Biden for 4 years. I had to deal with these illegals. I had to deal with high grocery prices. I had to deal with high gas prices. I had to deal with not feeling safe in the city. I had to deal
Mm.
with all these wars. I had to deal with, yeah.
Ooh.
For 4 years, you finna deal with it. Whether you voted for Trump or not, you gonna deal with with it, just like I had to deal with Biden. I didn't vote for him, but I had to deal with it. I was subjected to his nonsense. I didn't vote for Brandon Johnson, but I had to deal with it. I was subjected to his nonsense. So guess what? For all y'all out there who talking about, we gonna see, we sure are gonna see. We gonna see you sit your ignorant butt down and take this lashing for 4 years. Now, or more than that, because and more than that, because like Danny said, we finna put them fools on the timeout for the next 30 to 40 years. You gonna deal with it.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta deal with. That's why we gotta deal with this idiot Brandon Johnson that
An
you all voted
idiot
for. We didn't vote for this ignorant
at all.
mohawk way in there, but y'all deal with it. Look, and y'all voted for this Carmella and Biden Harris, and we had to suffer under this administration for 4 years. So whatever Trump do,
Whatever.
deal
If
with it.
Trump be outside throwing up saucers, you gonna look at it for 4 years.
Like we had to.
Like we had to. And then on top of that, after y'all voting for them and then messing up the economy, messing up the city, messing up the country, we couldn't even get y'all to come down there to City Hall and help fight that nigga. Come on now.
You. That's what I'm saying.
And
So
on
y'all.
top of that, y'all wanted some more. Talk about Carmella. Y'all wanted some more. We ain't thinking about y'all. Take your stupid broke.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Like you said, hold on. Not only did we not vote for this, we the ones had to go down here and suffer because and go fight for this madness that y'all voted for. We had to go and sacrifice time and things like that to go down there while y'all sitting somewhere at home just dealing with it. So
Right.
now, if Trump, like you said, look, if Trump just putting out mean tweets all night and day, deal
So
with it.
deal
Deal
with it.
with it.
Deal with it. Deal with it. I'm gonna go outside right now, and some Javier gonna be in my neighborhood walking up. I got to deal with that because of Biden and Carmella and Brandon Johnson. So when that deportation truck come and all them get scooped up, for all y'all who feel sorry for them Venezuelans and think we racist, you gonna deal with it. You
You
gonna
gonna
watch that borders off. You gonna watch that borders off. Oh yes, you are.
deal with
Matter of
it.
fact, we're gonna go to that borders our thing. We're gonna see if we can get some things put on the side of the doors of our car so we can help scoop them up. We're gonna come downtown and we're just gonna scoop up the babies and the ladies on the street. Just scoop them up and you're gonna deal with it. You're gonna
That's
deal with it. When the property taxes start going down and you look in your envelope and be full of happy, you're gonna deal with that happiness. You're gonna get tired of being content with being poor. You're gonna get tired of being content with not having nothing. You're gonna be tired of being content with having tore up schools. You're gonna be tired of being content with being on subsidized living. Oh, you gonna deal with getting some motivation and wanting something, wanting to open up your own business, wanting to have your kids properly educated, wanting to have a family, wanting to do what's right and be respectable and respected as a race again. You're black, it's gonna deal with it. Now,
y'all put deal with it. Look, they putting deal with it. Y'all, let's put deal with it in the deal with it in the comment, y'all. Put deal with it.
you're
I'm
gonna
serious.
deal with it.
You know what? That's how I look. That's our motto. You just made our motto, Miss
What's the
Jessica.
motto,
Look.
Daddy? What's the motto?
Anytime somebody gonna say something, anytime somebody say something, we gonna say what? Deal with
Deal
it.
with it.
They said, look, deal with it. We
Deal
deal with
with it.
deal.
Deal with it. If we go to the jewels right now, half the shelves is half empty because of the junk Biden and Harris done where the truckers won't even come in and bring gold. And we had to deal with that junk for 4 years. So when Trump get back in office, and now you can choose from Wonder Bread, Butternut Bread, Home Pride Bread, Blood Bread again. Nigga, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Deal
Y'all,
with it. Deal
they
with
talking
it.
about
When you get these interest rates down, where you can now go and qualify for a mortgage and a home loan so that you can have your own property instead of sitting up here looking for a Section 8 voucher all day and all night, nigga, deal with it. Deal with it. To set up here, these Democrats that set up here and got us used to being poor, used to being poverty stricken, used to being last, used to not having nothing. Well, it's a new sheriff in town, and Republicans believe in free enterprise, so niggas deal with it. Because they're
Deal.
going to be in office for the next 20 to 30 years. We going to deal with it. Now, for all y'all scared niggas that don't know to demand nothing from the government and willing to let the Democrats and the Republicans kick the can with your life, all I can tell you is for us free niggas who know how to get us something, y'all gonna deal with it. Y'all gonna deal with it. Y'all ain't gonna keep holding us back. Y'all ain't gonna keep letting us have nothing. You ain't gonna keep letting City Hall sit up here and not do right by our tax dollars because y'all too scared to speak up. That's y'all problem. Deal with it.
That,
Deal with it.
that's right.
Listen, get me started. I'm sitting up here. You think I'm gonna quit fighting? You think I'm gonna tell Donald Trump? Hell yeah, come to Chicago. Get up in them courts. You know what it is, Donald Trump. They messed you up in court. So is it so far-fetched that our courts could be crooked too? Be thankful that we got a president in office for the first time in history that you ain't got to twist his arm to make him believe that the judicial system is crooked and needs a complete overhaul. Take advantage of the fact that for the first time ever, we got a president that understands that the judicial system is crooked. So a nigga like me finna get my stuff to him and have him deal with this judicial system. And if you like suffering under a crooked judicial system, that's your problem. Because I'm looking for us to get free. So nigga, deal with it. Deal with what it is like to be free. Show me one president, one that we wouldn't have to convince, twist his arm. That yes, it is, they do this in the court. Yes, they do be doing this in the court. Yes, them judges do be doing this. For the first time, we've got a president that know all well too about it. And you
That's right.
still want to complain? We sit up here and talk about the crookedness in the judicial system. Every chance a nigga get, they want to talk about how this happened in court and that court. And we got a president
That's right.
that know all about the injustices of the court. And you gonna pass up this opportunity? Cause you some ignorant nigga? Too bad nigga, cause you finna deal with this shit. We finna do things different. Got looking to be poor their whole damn life. We gotta live. We gotta live. My children gotta live. My grandkids gotta live. So for all y'all who don't want nothing, so what? Too bad. Deal with it. Because I'm coming for mine. And anybody else who want theirs, I say, come on, let's go get it. If you scared, call 911. Back up off us because we finna go get it.
They said
We
they finna
finna
deal
go
with
get it.
this shit.
We finna go get it. The president, Donald Trump, I'm 62 years old. And I ain't never in my life ever heard a president or a presidential candidate say that black people built this country. Come on.
Ain't never,
Have
never.
you ever heard it, Danny?
No. Trump was the
No,
only one.
no. Trump is the only president / presidential candidate that I ever heard that come out of their mouth. He said, black people built this country. He
So
said,
did.
it's high time that we start recognizing that. Number two, he is the only presidential candidate that I've ever seen in my lifetime that had a actual black plan for black people.
That's he
That
did. Yup.
platinum plan was for black Americans. That's what he named it. Platinum plan for black Americans. He did not have it for, it was not for minorities. It
Black
was
and
not for
brown.
disenfranchised. It wasn't for black and brown. It wasn't for people of color. No, it was for black people.
That was right. That's right.
Everybody, but he do it? Did he do it? The nigga didn't get back in office, dumb
They
bunnies. Now,
they said
we
about
can hold
they said
them to
about she
him. Now we can hold that to him.
he said about she got me ready to run through a Y'all share this and like this, y'all. Share this and like this. We came real late. We got on late. We had technically
Yeah,
look
we had
difficulties,
technical difficulties.
but
But
y'all,
yeah, you know how we get down. We could do this at any time. I'm just glad that you got your channel up and running. I'm so proud of the work that you putting in. I'm glad that I met you. And I'm
I'm
glad of the work that you putting in. I'm glad of the work that Zoe is putting in. I'm glad of the work that P. Ray putting in.
right.
I was looking at y'all Sunday night. I looked at Zoe, and then I looked at P. Ray, then I looked at yours, right? And I'm like, dang, look at us. I'm like, look at us. Come on, y'all. That's how you do it. Come on, y'all. Y'all looking good. Chicago is looking good. We looking good. We looking good. Now, we got some brothers out here that's doing what they do too. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just all I'm saying is what I'm saying. We looking good. And we need to keep it up because we got all eyes on Chicago right now. We got all eyes on Chicago. And don't let the fake haters discourage us. We saw the voting. We saw the voting. It
Oh
doesn't
man, we
matter
did.
what they talking about. They said that Chicago voted 35% Republican. That
Yes.
means a third is 33 and a third percent. That's a third. That means that we did more than a third. So it's no reason why Illinois shouldn't have been turned purple or the color on it should not have remained that dark blue like that. But you know what it is. They ain't trying to give us the props for doing what we do, but
That's
we know what's true. And Trump
that's
is
right.
in office, and we'll deal with the other particulars later. You see what I'm saying? But right now, we're going to bask in the glory of the victory that we got. Because here's the truth right here, Danny. You know it like I know it. Election night, we was the ones sitting on our seats on pins and needles that Trump got to get in office. Because if Trump got in office, can you imagine how we would have felt going back down to City Hall? Oh my God, can you imagine it? But even in that, we would have been the ones that had to face it. We would have been the ones that would
Yup.
have had to ward that off. We would have been the ones that had to, say facing it. But God, in His infinite wisdom, in His glory, and all His righteousness, He made it happen, big baby. He made it
So
happen. Huh? He made it happen. He made it happen. He said, y'all have no fear. Have no fear. Y'all, come on, step right on in. Y'all didn't come the next day. I came and P. Ray came and Sims and Blakemore. We were there the next day. And I'm going to tell you, it felt so good. It felt so good to come up in City Hall knowing that Trump had gotten in the night before.
mm,
It felt so good seeing City Hall deflated like that. Deflated like that. It felt so good all the way to the point where, like I know, that's why they made that letter. That's why they
mm,
made that letter yesterday. And what they said, we did a survey, and 78% of our constituents said that if we voted, they was gonna vote. No, 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 no. What y'all know is survey or no survey. We told them back in February, what? Y'all keep voting for that money? We're coming for them seats. Come on. And
what?
that took fame over the city. A lot of people start feeling that way. So it
Yep.
showed up in a little survey they did the other day. But the
Well, survey.
reality is, the day after Trump got in and we stepped up in there, they knew then we coming for them seats. Y'all better get it right. Y'all better get it right. They said Chicago can't flip red. It already did. When you saw that 50-0 vote up there for that money, that whole board was red. Chicago flipped red right there in Chicago City Hall. Come on. Everything
And
else is just the particulars.
and they were saying like Chicago for them to get what they for Trump to get what he got in Chicago. So imagine if we had ID, voter ID.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
you see what I'm saying? Imagine if we had voter ID. They said Trump did so he did. They haven't seen a Republican do this good in Chicago since with Reagan.
Yeah, they said that they had never seen that the electoral college vote
Yep.
map hadn't been that red since the days of Ronald Reagan. That
See,
whole electoral college vote was red. See, that's the reason why, but again, all the haters who can't see it, it doesn't matter. The white boys saw it. That's how come that
Yes,
electoral college map looked like that. Huh?
that's right.
The
That's
white
right.
boys saw it. That's why that electoral college map looked like that. Did you see that? He
Yeah,
stumped her with the electoral college. Because
he
even if
killed.
you win the popular vote, if you lose the electoral college, you still lose. Like in the Al Gore and Young Bush election. That was the
Right,
first time we saw that in our lifetime, where Gore had got the popular vote.
right.
But then Young Bush got the electoral college vote,
Yeah,
and then Al Gore ended up losing the election. But remember, it took them like a whole extra month or something to declare the winner,
yeah, the counting. Yeah.
right? And remember, in that weakness, that's when America suffered that 911 attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? With the whole world seeing America weak like that because we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't determine who the president was.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing would have happened with Carmela Harris and Tampon Tim. The minute they got sworn in, you best believe here was gonna come these other countries that because clearly America is weak.
Make God bless. That's why I keep saying I thank God every day. Because you see,
Every day.
Biden, what he's trying to start right now, they showing you what they're about. He's trying to start WW3. They opened the border. He's trying to let more illegals come in. He done loosened up all his policies that he fake tried to put in place while they run this election. And so if we would have God just really showed out for us. And I'm really thanking God for what
Yeah,
he did for us.
grace. Grace.
Because yeah, he gave us grace. He gave us grace. He did. And look, and we gonna take advantage of that. And look, like Miss Johnson, look, like Miss, look, loud and clear. I don't can't, they said I can hear you loud and clear. I use my brain. Okay, so look, Miss Jackson, she already told you we gonna start making these because this wait a minute. First of all, I want to tell you, Miss Jackson, and I really want to tell you inspired me. You really because you've been doing this for years and you inspired me because I used to talk about this on my Facebook, right? And it
Mhm.
was just like people wasn't, they just wasn't understanding what we were going through for us with all these illegals. I used to try to show that and talk about it, but it was just like whatever. And then I'm like, man, this is terrible. And then I would watch your clips would go viral and stuff like that. And I will watch you and I will watch P Ray and Zoe and all them and just, fight, fight, never giving up. And I used to be down there fighting, fighting. I'm like, you know what? What you talking about it right here, minimally, not a lot, but what are you gonna do? Because you can talk about it, but when it come down to actions, that's a whole different story, right? So I was still like, okay, I don't know if I'm really, I don't, just procrastinating. And I was just watching y'all, watching y'all, watching y'all. And then when they put that in my, when they started being in my neighborhood, that's what gave me that push. But I really want to say you really, really just seeing you and the passion and the way you was not scared and everything that was in you. Man, you inspired me, and I really appreciate you and love you for everything you did and just and then you just not only that you consistent, you do not stop. It's not, it can be snowing, it can be whatever, you persistent. I'm serious. It's just unbelievable the way you're driving everything. I love you for that because you are inspiring so many people to say, you know what, I'm gonna stand up and say something because we want to, but we scared or we just don't, we just so used to complaining with each other and not doing nothing, not putting our foot to the ground. But you have inspired the world. And you inspired me, and I got to give you kudos for that. And I thank God for you every day. You talking about that you met me. I thank God that He put us together because you inspired me so much
Mhm.
to even say, make my voice be heard and what's right. You know what I'm saying? And to shine the light on these things and say, you know what? I'm gonna crash out. Whatever happens, gonna happen
Mhm.
because that's what you
Mhm.
have shown. Period. And you inspired a lot of people, and I love you for that. I just want to say that.
Well, I love you. I love you too, and we inspire each other. We inspire each other. Zoe bounces off my energy. I bounce off of
Mhm.
hers. You came through. P. Ray come through. Tyrone and Cotty.
Mhm.
It's a lot of us,
Yes.
that's out there fighting. Doris and Erica with that
Oh yeah.
contract for Black Chicago and all this and that. Um, even like Afro Elite and them who try to help
Yeah.
us, and David and them that's with us, and it's a Chicago thing,
It's a
and
Chicago.
the people here, eh, I mean, it's easy to love this city, and it's easy to love the people in the city. So we just gonna stay together, keep fighting, because it's a fight worth fighting, and hopefully more people to get involved. But we're gonna work with what we have. But it's been more than a pleasure working with you guys. And I'm so glad that I met you all. And I'm glad that we work together. And I'm glad that we making a difference. And we have come to know each other and to love one another and to lead by example in that, because people see us sticking together. They see
Mhm.
us getting, through rough patches with one another, but we still hang together because of the bigger purpose and the and the bigger reason. So it's been a blessing, and let's go.
Yeah, so like Miss Jackson said, we got it's the gas. We're gonna so some of the gas, I'm gonna start bringing them up on the panel too and talking to the guys that's behind it, like Dave and Justin. We're gonna start bringing them up so you all can see them. Like Miss Jackson said, y'all know Zoe, y'all know P Ray. We got all of them. We're gonna start definitely just bringing everybody up and but one thing we're going to do, me, Miss Jackson, and Zoe, we already said we're going to definitely make it our business to make it famous Fridays, to bring these
Yes.
ornaments up and put them on blast and let y'all know whether they've been good.
Yes.
Because Miss Jackson, y'all know she went viral when she said, we're going to make a list. She said, Christmas coming early this year, and we're going to make a list and we're going to check who been naughty and nice. And y'all better, we're going to see that went viral. And this is what since look, the Christmas time coming right back up now. We're gonna make good on
And
that
we're about to
promise.
check the list.
And we're gonna start checking that list, y'all. And we're gonna call it Famous Friday. I'll make you famous. And if you've been naughty or nice, we're bringing you to the front of the congregation, to the front, and we're gonna let your constituents know this is what's going on with your alderman. If you know your alderman is coming up that Friday to be famous, you better check in, or whatever, like Miss Jackson say, whatever questions y'all got. But we're gonna let y'all know exactly what's going on, and that's gonna hold them accountable. Like you said, with that, but they just did that. They killed me talking about we just did like you were just saying, a survey to see. No, it was because they, saying, like you were saying, we coming for those seats. And now they seeing people watching. They can't just be reckless and just voting how they used to vote and selling you out and stuff. So now they looking like Miss Jackson. First of all, she had already said, and then now everybody saying you went viral talking about we coming for those seats. And now, like you said, we coming for those seats. So Now it's shining the light on them. And now we're gonna go a step further. We're gonna put everybody's name in front of the congregation and make them famous. You're gonna either be
Yeah, we're
famous,
gonna put it in that.
you and you're gonna be famous for being terrible, or you're gonna be famous for being good. It all depends on you. Look, the alderman, it all depends on them, but they're gonna be famous. That-
Oh, but they gonna be famous. They're gonna be famous. You gonna be famous for the good, or you gonna be famous for the bad. But you gonna be famous
so we
because
make
we got too much at stake.
Yeah, so look, y'all. So that's gonna be on Friday. So we are posting because I'm thinking like we was just saying, I don't know, Miss Jackson, we're gonna do like Zoe channel one time. I don't know how we'll do it, right? How we gonna get it all set up. And now
Yeah.
that we didn't get the kinks out of the the lab and everything. So now we know it's gonna be good, y'all. And look. I love y'all, but Miss Jackson, if you want to say something, and then I'm gonna be and we know it's gonna be good. If you want to say something, end it.
Just glad that we got on, that we was able to work out the kinks. We got on, and hopefully, I hope that the audience enjoyed it, and come on down here to City Hall with us and hang out sometime. And we'll see you on Make You Famous Friday,
All right, y'all.
2025.
Look, and at the end of the thing, look, what we gonna say? Deal with it. I love that. So now, y'all listen. When y'all hear me say deal with it, because now that's gonna be one of my things. Now, when I go live and y'all start pissing me off, I'm gonna say deal with it. So I'm serious, Miss Jackson. You
Yeah,
get your word. Deal with it.
deal with
So
it.
deal with it. And look, y'all can put look, whenever I say that, y'all gonna say, I just want y'all to say, Miss Jackson, deal with it. Cause look, I look, I loved it. I love that. She's absolutely right. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Yeah, look at those things I did. So I love y'all, and I'll see you all soon. I don't know and if I don't see y'all before Thanksgiving, enjoy your Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love y'all, and we're gonna see y'all on the famous Friday. Yeah.
Yes. Later, Danny. See you
Bye
later.
bye, beautiful. Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
y'all.
Bye bye.